What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. So, the December V Jump has just been released in Japan, and we've got a good amount of stuff to talk about. The potential of the sixth Yu-Gi-Oh! Animated and I guess manga series being announced very early in 2016, as kind of being hinted in this article right here. We've got more Elemental Hero support, we have more Eidolon cards to discuss, and just a whole bunch of stuff was revealed in this V Jump. So, let's start off with Fusion Enforcers, the new Eidolon Beast. Now, this was predictable. A lot of us at this point are kind of guessing that Eidolon beasts are going to be, I guess, somewhat structured like Shadows, where they're going to have a fusion monster for every different attribute. They already have wind, they already have a couple of light monsters, and now looks like they have a dark monster. And by the way, can we just acknowledge how good the artwork on these Eidolon beasts have been? Because these cards look freaking amazing. I hope that they're like all ultra rare, or maybe just, you know, at least all hollow or some form, because they really look nice. All right, so this guy is Caligula, the Eidolon Beast. Okay, he is a dark level 4 beast monster. Fusion, of course, 1000 attack, 1800 defense. He requires Alistar and a dark monster. That shouldn't be too hard to get. For starters, you can use, I guess, 2 copies of Alistar, considering Alistar is actually dark. And I mean, just think about how many dark monsters he play in the meta. I mean, anything related to Burning Abyss, anything related to Phantom Knights. I mean, you can just use their graveyard, just banish their side, especially considering that banishing like a Dante or banishing a Seer or a Graph can be huge because those cards are limited. Banishing one of your opponent's Phantom Knight so that they can't banish that and get another card, like that's pretty big. All right, so the effects is, while this card is in the monster zone, each player can only activate 1 monster effect per turn. Also, each player can only attack with 1 monster during each battle phase. That is really important. This card, to me, kind of reminds me of Winda. It is a super stun card. I mean, your opponent only being able to activate 1 monster effect is pretty big, because let's just say you want to go completely ham on them, right? But they have like a Maxi in their hand. Okay, do they Maxi and know that that's the only card that they can, that's the only monster effect that they can use for the turn? Potentially all their monsters on the board no longer can get effects if they get like ran over. Oh, I can't use my Dante anymore. Oops, I can't use my Beatrice because I Maxied because I used Effect Veiler earlier in the turn. Or do they just kind of, you know, rely on their field? So it can be big. Plus, only having your opponent be able to attack with 1 monster means that this card being weak, 1800 defense, might not be that big of a deal. Maybe you play something like Dark Sanctuary, they attack once, their attack gets negated. Oops, your whole battle phase is basically wasted because of this card. So I think this card is pretty dope. Then we have this amazing new hero support card. I don't know why on earth this was not released during the GX era. It would have made so big of a difference, a colossal difference. This card could have changed everything that we thought about Elemental Heroes during the GX era. I mean, Elemental Heroes weren't completely terrible, but they also weren't meta. You only seen a couple of meta decks, like I guess Jeff Jones's like Big City back in the day. I mean, Destiny Heroes kind of were like the meta, and Elemental Heroes were kind of on the back burner. This guy looks pretty damn amazing. It's called Elemental Hero Honesty Neos, and it looks like the artwork, it basically is just a cross between Elemental Hero Neos and actually the card Honest that we all know from Light of Destruction. And this guy has basically the same stats as Neos. He's a light warrior, level 7. He's got the, you know, the trademark Ace Monster stats, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Same stat line as Stardust Dragon, Odd Eyes, Utopia, Dark Magician, etc., etc. And some people are probably thinking, oh, Cap, come on, it's a level 7. We ain't got no time to be tribute summoning. Don't worry. You never have to summon this thing to get use out of it, and that's why it's so good. Okay, so you can only use each effect of Honesty Neos once per turn. No one cares about that. That's fine. It's built into like every monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyways. The effect number 1 is the whole reason to run this card. During either player's turn, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 hero monster you control. It gains 2500 attack until the end of this turn. Holy shit, that is so amazing. Okay, let's just talk about why this effect is so much better than something like Honest in Heroes, because some people might, well, why can't I'll just run Honest, Cap. It's just a better card. Number 1, this card does not have to go to the graveyard as a cost. That means that you can use this under Macrocosmos, or if your opponent has Deep Fission Fissure or their Dark Law on their side of the field, you can still totally use this effect. Number 2, this does not have to target a light monster, which means you can use this on your Dank Law, you can use this on your Bubble Man, you can use this on your Shadow Mist, and number 3, this can be used when attacking directly, which means you can take a Neos Alias or you can take a Dark Law, and I mean, the damn thing will almost be 5,000 attack. Like, that's freaking ridiculous. Like, I have no idea why this was not released like 10 years ago. It would have been such a big deal. It would have been amazing. And yeah, this could definitely make heroes a lot more viable. And then we have the monster effect, or excuse me, like the monster on field effect that says during the player's turn, you can discard one hero monster. This card gains attack equal to that monster's attack until the end of the turn. So basically, effect number 2 is pretty much just a reverse of effect number 1. If you had hypothetically a Neos Alias in your hand, you can discard your Neos Alias, and then this guy would gain 1900 attack. So to me, this card seems like it's never, ever, ever going to be dead. Like, unless it's the only card in your hand and you have no other cards, like, this should always be good. I know it does kind of conflict with Bubble Man and, you know, not having cards in your hand, but maybe there's going to be a new way of running heroes. And goddamn, if there is, like, this is a 100% reason to like bring back Stratos. Like, summon Stratos, attack directly, discard this card. Stratos is at what, 4,300 attack? Like, what? This card is fantastic. I'm gonna play heroes again because of this card. It's amazing. All right, and then we have Harpy Featherstorm. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, they're going to give us a trap version of Feather Duster? That's pretty dope. It's a normal trap. It says if you control a Harpy monster, you can activate this card from your hand. If you control a Wind Wing Beast monster, which obviously all the Harpies are, unless I'm just wrong about that, negate all your opponent's activated monster effects until the end of the turn. So it basically becomes kind of like a skill drain, basically, that you can use from the hand, which is pretty dope. Your opponent just goes and you just activate this, and it's just skill drain for the entire turn, but it's only for them, and you can activate it from the hand, which means that they can never like Twin Twister it, they can never MST it or anything like that, Galaxy Cyclone or Cosmic Cyclone, all that good stuff. Okay, a little bit of Harpy support here. Effect number 2, if this card in the spell or trap zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add one Harpy's Feather Duster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This is interesting because we all know that Feather Duster is illegal in the OCG, but it is banned in the TCG. And I wonder if Konami might have to think about unbanning Feather Duster because of this card. This is really, really interesting. Being able to get Feather Duster back from the graveyard seems pretty stupid. Like, you already used it and now you're just gonna get it back. So, but thank God it doesn't have to be. If it was just destroyed by any of your effects, like, that would be dumb, because then you'd be able to pop it with Hunting Ground and then just search out Feather Duster, which would be kind of stupid. All right, next up we've got Chaos Scepter Blast. This is I don't want to call it a Dark Magician card, but it's like a spellcaster card. It's like more spellcaster support. Quick play spell card. Effect number 1, activate if you control a level 8 or higher spellcaster monster. Okay. Banish one card on the field face down. That's a real shame that it doesn't work with Dark Magician, isn't it? Like, what? I don't understand why it's not level 7 or higher, because the most obvious would be, hey, if I've got a Dark Magician on the field, I could just activate this. Effect number 2, if this card in your spell or trap zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one Magician of Black Chaos or Dark Magician of Chaos from your deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. I would assume you'd probably get Dark Magician of Chaos. He's just a stronger card, like a much stronger card overall. This card is a missed opportunity in my opinion, because it doesn't work with Dark Magician, and that's the card you definitely want it to work with, because it'd probably be played in Dark Magician decks. Then we have this card called Power Wall, which seems pretty interesting. It's a normal trap card. It says during damage calculation, when you would take damage, take battle damage from an opponent's attacking monster, send one card from the top of your deck to the graveyard for each 500 damage you would take, so that the damage becomes 0. So basically, if your opponent attacks you with a Blue Eyes White Dragon, right, you would take 3,000 damage. You essentially flip this over and you mill the top 6 cards of your deck, and then you take 0 damage. That's kind of cool because, you know, milling 6 cards is pretty important. Just even if you mill, I would assume you're going to mill at least 4 cards off of this. Like, that's pretty big, but it does only stop one battle attack. Like, it only stops 1 damage. So, you know what I mean? You're only going to get one shot at it, but milling like 3-4 cards seems pretty good. Then there's this new Speedroid card called Speed Drift. It's a quick play. It says if the only monster you control is a tuner, special summon one level 4 or lower Speedroid monster from your deck. When that monster is special summoned, neither player can activate cards and effects, or excuse me, cards or effects in response. That is pretty interesting, and I like this card because for starters, it does not have to be a Speedroid tuner. It can just be any random tuner. Secondly, this seems like this allows for some pretty quick plays with Speedroids because it can obviously summon Terratop straight from your deck, and then Terratop, when it is summoned, is going to be able to activate its ability to get something like Take Timberg. So let's just say that you normal summoned a Tri-Eye Dice, right? You could activate Speed Rift, you could get your Terratop, and then you could get Take Timberg, and then you could just instantly trish your opponents, and you basically only use 2 cards to trish your opponent, which is pretty good, and you only had to use like your normal summon, so that's pretty good. I think that's actually a pretty decent combo, and I mean, this opens up a lot of plays for Speedroid just because it can get Take Timberg, or excuse me, it can get Speedroid Terratop straight from the deck. There's also going to be a new structure deck that's going to be released. This one apparently is going to be based around pendulum summoning, and it's going to have pendulum magicians in it. Now, it says right here December 23rd, but I don't know if that's going to be the release date or if that's going to be the date that they're going to reveal this this structure deck, because you would think that if they were going to release it that day, that they would have probably already had a name that had been revealed. You know what I mean? Because this is basically in 2 months. So I don't know, maybe next month they'll reveal it, but that seems like a really tight window of basically 2 months. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting another pendulum structure deck, probably the last one in the Arc V era that we'll see in the TCG. And it looks like there's going to be another Predator Plant fusion monster. So this is going to be looks like it's going to be a promo in the V-Jump in Japan. So obviously there's no telling when we're going to see this card, but that is pretty cool because Predator Plants only, well, actually, no, they've got 4 fusions now. They have Greedy Venom, they've got Star Venom, and then they have the other one that's a promo. So wow, looks like Predator Plants are getting a lot of decent support cards, and my eyes don't serve me well. This guy is, I think he's 945. Yeah, okay, it looks like he's a 9-star. Don't know what the effect is because obviously they got it blurred out and we don't know the stat line either. So there's no use in me really trying to talk about it or speculate as what the effect's gonna be. And then lastly, this one right here, Konami says that they're going to be announcing some new information about Yu-Gi-Oh! At Konami's booth at the Jump Fiesta in 2017. And this is probably going to be the new anime or the new manga, whatever the 6th series is going to be, because at previous times they have announced things like Arc V and Zexal at this event. So I'm crossing my fingers that we will get the Hyper Summon in the next series. Red cards, Konami. Just Hyper Summon, man. Come on. I've given you all the ammunition that you need to make this new mechanic. Red cards, Hyper Summon, and I kind of want a female protagonist at this point. Like, we've had like 5 guys with stupid weird hair, so I don't know. Maybe we can get a female protagonist. So let me know what you guys think of all this information. I think it's a lot to take in, and I'm sure during the January V-Jump, it'll probably be a lot bigger because they'll probably start talking about cards from Maximum Crisis at that point. And yeah, I'm very excited about this stuff, especially Honesty Neos, because that card just seems really good for heroes, and I just wonder why it wasn't released during the GX era. It could have made such a big, colossal difference for them. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it or if you liked any of this information, and subscribe if you have not already.